Hey guys, I still have a long way to go, but I am getting so much better at PvP in Frostborn. And one of the main things that I have learned in this process as I've been getting better is it's really important to record your footage and then go back and watch it, because you watching yourself play will be a completely different experience than actually playing it. So what I'm going to do in this video is go through the best clip of each of my 5 different accounts and show you the difference between what I was thinking at the time versus what actually happened. So for our first clip, I'm going to choose a pretty recent video where I did the richest man in Frostborn, the 3rd episode, and I did some PvP. And it was really interesting because it was actually your comments. I know this is a little awkward that you can see me back there. It's like 2 of me, but we're going to have to deal with that. But in this episode, it was your comments that actually made me go back and look at the footage. I don't have a chance to, until recently, really until now, I have not been looking at all of the footage that I do. And it was that video where you guys made this comment and I was like, no. And then I went back and looked at it and I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe I did that. So I'm going to show you the footage and then I'm going to show you what it looked like to me. Okay, so here we are. Royal Sniper goes in there, gets stunned. Kingpin taunts me and I don't dispel. And it's this long battle where I'm attacking the tank for most of it. And then right at the end, I kind of teleport away and I'm getting some damage on Jay and it's looking good, but he ends up getting the kill. So that is what happened, and you guys pointed out that I was attacking the tank most of the time. But let me show you what I remembered the fight looking like. So you'll notice that the way that I remembered it is that I was only focusing the tank for just a little bit while I was processing what was going on, and that I was focusing Jay almost the entire time. But in reality, that was because my mind was playing a trick on me. I was kind of freaking out with the PvP fight. I wasn't sure. I remember lots of thoughts were going in my head, like I don't want them to be able to just kill me really quickly. I don't want to kind of become exposed, and it honestly felt like it was just 1 second when in reality it was 20 seconds. And so I thought I was focusing on Jay the whole time, and I was so surprised when you guys were like, you focused on the tank the whole time. And so it was really helpful for me to realize, going back and looking at the footage, it made me realize, wow, first of all, I learned 2 things. One, when I'm freaked out, when I'm like allowing my fear or not wanting to mess up get the better of me, I go into a time warp and I don't realize what is happening. But when I'm more calm and when I saw Jay and I was focused and I had a mission and I had something to focus on, time went by slower. That part of the battle felt normal. I still didn't dispel when he was attacking me, but that has more to do with my confidence of being able to get into my inventory real quick. And I don't even necessarily feel comfortable dispelling quickly on the phone that I've been practicing, much less this other phone, which has a very different angle and feel to it. But the other thing that I learned from this is that I'm actually a lot tankier than I think I am. Because usually the times that I feel like my health gets evaporated are usually those times that I'm freaking out, which in the time lapse, those times are truncated. And so this was really helpful for me. And now going into the future, I realize, I need to learn how to take control of myself and stop freaking out, because if I'm going to allow myself to go into those time lapse and not think clearly, then I'm just never going to win in a PvP battle. I also learned here that I was in my in Bushwookie's heal. And so when I saw Jay focusing on me, I had full health and I was getting healed. Honestly, he was looking pretty low. All of my teammates were alive. The battle was actually still looking decent, even though I had focused on the tank for so long. And it was here when I got that critical hit and I teleported away thinking, I'm going to disengage from Jay. But in reality, I should have kept focusing on Jay, because my whole team was kind of set up to succeed. I didn't know that. I thought, I don't want to get focused by Jay. I was scared of his damage. I didn't want, him to take me out. And in reality, if I had kept attacking him and maybe teleported right before I died, which may have never happened, we might have been able to take him down. But instead, Bush Wookiee's getting teamed up on down here, and Royal Sniper and we're still getting there, but it's just he's kiting Royal Sniper, so he can't get his full damage. And we still almost killed Jay. So if I had done anything a little bit better, we probably would have been able to finish him off, which may have changed. I mean, honestly, that may have changed the complete battle if Royal could have still kept Thunderbolt and Kingpin off of me. So it's really helpful for me to see the mistakes that I'm making. And in typical fashion, it seems like pretty much all my mistakes are I freaked out too early, I ran away too early, I assumed I was going to lose, and therefore I was going to lose. In fact, it's really embarrassing. Earlier in the previous iteration of this fight, there was one point here where you can see that I get into my inventory, which, it's not going quite as smooth as I can. And I look up and I see 16 health, and I say, might as well not dispel. I don't want to waste a resource. And in reality, and this has been a big problem with me in PvP, I don't want to waste resources, and that often gets me killed. A good PvPer says, screw it, I'm worth using a lot of dispel potions, even for just a chance of it saving me. And so I didn't dispel, I leave, and then I find out I'm actually being healed, and they weren't able to quite pin the kill on me. So I actually live for a little bit longer. And if I had dispelled and I wasn't taking all of this burning damage here, because if I was dispelled, I wouldn't be taking the burning damage, I might have lived for a lot longer. I may have been able to just bandage my way out of it. Who knows what would have happened? Me thinking that I was going to lose is what ended up guaranteeing me losing this fight. And I've seen this over and over again. If I play mind games with myself and think that I'm going to lose, I probably lose. And if someone else plays mind games on themselves and they think I'm going to lose, then they're probably going to lose. Running away, you're obviously not doing damage. And so a lot of times, a lot of people just lose because they think that they're going to lose. Okay, so this is one that, with my pro team that I thought we did okay. I mentioned that they were left because I saw they turned off the traps, and then I'm turning on this trap to kind of hit them with it. But in reality, I hit Flaw Power, and they are really pro dispel. Like, they dispelled almost immediately, which makes that trap not do nearly as well. We unfortunately weren't able to place a bunch of traps here, but you'll see here that I'm not doing horrible. In reality, just things weren't great. I had a 5-shot crossbow, and their healer got a great heal, and our healer didn't get a good heal. So that is really just that is partially just circumstances. We played well, but sometimes people get lucky. Our healer got stunned in the middle of his heal. That really you can dispel, but your heal's still on cooldown, and these guys were just really tanky. They had all level 3 classes. We had level 2 classes, and they had their healer just hit perfect, just nailed it with his heals, and that just made it to where we were getting our butts kicked. So we did a pretty good job here, where we're kind of switching off, but we're still getting absolutely slaughtered. Don't run away too fast. Josh does pretty good there and run through there. Well, actually, I got hit. I didn't actually realize that I got hit by that second one as well. So yeah, I should have dispelled there, honestly. I should have dispelled. If I had dispelled there after I got hit by the first one, then I don't know, we were getting chased. It's hard. But we're all low health. And this is where I try to do a stun grenade. I didn't realize that Antonio had done a healing thing. And I'm trying to keep I'm trying to stun them into the fire trap. And again, he had a speed potion. And really, sometimes you get outplayed and you can play better. But then what's really embarrassing is I get stunned when I'm trying to shoot my arrow at him, and I just sit there and take it. As I watch this, I didn't do as bad as I thought. And so it can go the other way too. Like, you can go and you can look back at the footage and say, man, you just remembering things is different. I had 5 health. I'm remembering that now. It was just kind of over before it began. This guy's over here saying hi. It was a good PvP fight, and they got some good gear from it. But needless to say, if I were to do this fight over again, I would have a level 3 class. I'm really needing to grind for my level 3 class. It's just something that has to happen, and it needs to happen quickly. And then I'd bring a fire bow, because the truth is, the fire bow is amazing. I know people can dispel and limit it, but the dispel only lasts for 5 seconds, and the fire bow just keeps doing so much unanswered, doesn't matter how strong your armor is, damage, that it's king. And you can see these guys have 2 archers, and well, one of the archers got down. The fire traps did end up getting a kill, so I got 1 kill, but ultimately these guys are just shredding us, and we needed to put traps up here. If we're ever going to try to go level 2 classes against level 3 classes, especially with a pro healer like that, I mean, just what a fantastic play with the heals. I thought splitting up their team was going to be really bad, and maybe in a different situation it could have been really bad for them, but in this case it really screwed us over. Having him come on from this side and get a perfect heal without getting stunned really screwed over our team. Going in here, maybe dispelling while I was in the fire thing, but honestly I was so low, and that stun hammer just nullified my arrow, so they just outplayed me. And so I guess that there's 2 ways of looking at footage. It's often it'll tell you, hey, there was a lot of things you missed, there's a lot of things you could have done better, and then sometimes you look at the footage and you say, nope, I just need to get level 3 classes, or I just need to there's nothing I can do talent-wise that's going to impress it. I just need better circumstances to go my way. All right, so this next clip is some low-level PvP. Here we got Lewis Angel's got he's just in green gear. I'm in less good gear, but I've got a green bow, and I'm chasing him. I think I can kill him, but I make a couple mistakes that I didn't catch at the time. At the time, sometimes things are in a blur. And so the first one is, and Jay pointed this out when we were doing some PvP, basically lessons he was teaching me. So this guy bolas me, and I freak out and bola him back. And Jay pointed out, he's like, why would you do that? Like, if you had waited, like if I had waited to bola him, I wasn't changing anything by bowling him. If I had waited, I had more speed than him because of my hunter bow, and so I could have run away at some point with low health, same amount of health, because nothing changed by me bowling him, and then I could have bowled him here at this point, and then I could have been bandaging up and shooting him from afar, and using my range and speed advantage to be able to kill this guy, and I didn't, and then I ended up losing that one. That one isn't the best example, so let me use this example instead. This is the same account. My brother-in-law and I, we were desperate on items, right? I got blue gear and a frostbow, a reaper staff, and he's got he's got good gear on, and the idea is it's 2-on-1. We're gonna win this, right? Because there's 2 of us versus 1 of them, and so this is a really frustrating clip. The idea is we're using our purple gear, our best stuff, because it should be an easy fight. It's 2 versus 1, and if we win, then we get their purple stuff. And so this guy comes. We make the mistake of, I don't think we're on voice chat. Yeah, we're not on voice chat. We're texting to each other. So I stun him, but then Luftatar, my brother-in-law, he throws out his Ice Mage thing at the same time. So just kind of a double thing. Not that big of a deal, but that's where we're at. And so he stuns him. Again, so far, everything's fine. But then I'm shooting, and I just don't do that much damage, right? I've got my little Frostbow. This guy knows he needs to run away because it's 2 versus 1, but I'm not doing hardly any damage. My whole role is just to keep him pinned where he can't run away. Well, even though my brother-in-law had a damage reflection potion and healing in his quick slot, which is already an improvement because the episode before, he didn't even have those in his quick slot. He didn't even have healing. He didn't know. He's so new to the game, he didn't know he needed to have healing. He has it, but he doesn't use it. So this whole fight, and this is actually something he and I learned. He's like, what happened? Like, how did we lose 2 versus 1? Well, he's like, I don't know if I used my damage reflection potion. Well, I looked at the footage later, and I told him, well, not only did you not use your damage reflection potion, but you also didn't use bandages a single time. So he's getting, once this guy turns around and starts shooting, he's just taking chunks out of his health, and he's not healing at all. And obviously one of the mistakes might have been that I should have had the purple weapon. It's okay for him to have the purple gear. We can let him tank. But I just couldn't do any damage. And so I came up, I'm healing. It's looking good. I've got pretty good health. I'm shooting him as he's trying to finish him off. And look at that. He just taking out a quarter of my health at a time. I just cannot do the damage that I need to do to kill this guy with a Frostbow. I just don't have what it takes. And so it's over. He gets all of that stuff, and we're poorer than we were when we started. Actually, we've gotten some pretty good raids, some similar situations where we won, and so we got some. But this was really helpful footage for me to show Luftatar and say, hey, you've got to click the bandage. Every 4 seconds, you got to keep clicking that bandage. Obviously, if you have a damage reflection potion, that would have been a completely different game if he had been reflecting all of that damage on himself. We got him pretty low, and he would have died for sure. But, oh well. He's so new to the game. And that's how I was when I was new to the game. In fact, I'm just now starting to get a lot better at PvP. It wasn't even a month ago when I was having trouble remembering to use bandages in the middle of a fight. This game takes a while, and I love this guy's attitude. And one of my brother-in-law's attitude is like, hey, I don't mind losing my gear as long as I'm learning. And so the fact that I was able to show him the footage, the fact that I was able to tell him what happened, and he's like, okay, that's good. Because again, your mind tells you one thing, because he wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know if I've used my damage reflection potion. I'm pretty sure I was using my bandages, but I don't know. He didn't even know because he was in that time warp. And so by me going back and looking at the footage, I was able to show him, no, you didn't use any of it. And either of those would have been a pretty big game changer in such a close battle. Definitely find out later Ronan is a fan, and he was really excited about getting and bringing that stuff home. So good job, Ronan. You played well. You got a little lucky, but you played well, and that's some good loot that you got to bring home. All right, this next clip is particularly embarrassing. I mean, they're all kind of embarrassing because they're all losses and they're all me showing you guys my mistakes, but that's what I'm here for. I'm here to make the mistakes so that you can learn faster from yours and hopefully not make some of the mistakes that I made. Anyone that you see that is good at PvP, they made all of these mistakes. I've talked to pretty much all of them, and all of them, if you get them in a moment of honesty, they're like, yeah, I used to suck, or yeah, I had to die so many times to get where I'm at. And so you got to get good. You have to have moments like these, and that's what gives me encouragement to keep showing you guys this footage, is because I know that if I keep doing this and keep working at it, I will, I'll get there. So this guy says peace and love, but then he attacks us, which is funny. Okay, so we go out to meet him, which is already maybe not the smartest, but it's 2 versus 1. We don't have great gear. She's got a green crossbow. I've got, we don't have that great of gear. I've got a blue Raiders Axe and Shield, which is kind of what I was really hoping on. And so I throw the hammer pretty good, knock him out. You can see already, this instigator gear is just as good for a mage as maxed out mage gear. So he's got good stuff on. This is going to be a strong fight. He's got a wrath staff. He really has everything he needs to do really well. But I was able to stun him, which is good. My wife's health is a little bit low. And I taunt him, which this is one of those things where I'm just learning the more I watch the footage, my old footage, is I just always use skills too quickly. I just freak out and I mash buttons too quickly. It would have been good to wait just a little bit. Or honestly, as this fight goes on, I really should have just waited and used this as a combo as they're designed to be. I should have just attacked him while he was stunned, but I didn't. And so my wife bolas him, which is great. I think that's good. I didn't need, again, another reason I shouldn't have used my taunt. We're doing pretty good. My health's pretty high. I'm bandaging up. He's been attacking me. My wife's doing damage. I'm doing damage. Everything's going pretty well. And what's embarrassing about this one is that I have been getting better. I've been working on my PvP skills, and one of the things that you need to work on in PvP skills is to go into your inventory, click on what you need, and go. And so everything's going well, and I thought, I need to go into my inventory to do things. I don't know why I thought that. So I go in, already taking me too long to be in my inventory, and I think, wait, I don't need any of this stuff. And this is so dumb. I'm like, I don't need this, so why am I doing it? So I hit Dispel. This is so painful to watch. I hit Dispel, and then I get out of my inventory, and the guy's gone. We were winning. And I wasted Dispel, which I normally don't waste things. I don't know. I'm still like mad at myself, but this is the funk you get in when you're in the middle of PvP and you're freaking out. And I was even freaking out in a good way. Everything was going well. So anyways, then I'm like, I run and I can't, and then that was quick. 'Cause you see how fast I went in my inventory? So I did things well, but I already dispelled, so I couldn't use my speed potion. So just being dumb. And then I throw this hammer. I'm pretty good at throwing hammers. I get a land, pretty long range land, which is good. But you can see his health is already fully restored. If I had saved my charge and taunt, this would have been no question. I just have fought him. We're winning. And then once he starts to run away, charge and taunt. Game over. There would have been, or if he stayed and my wife's health was getting low, then I taunt. Game over. Either way, game would have been over, but I didn't do that. And so now we have this long, drawn-out fight. She bolas him, which was awesome. My wife is getting so much better at PvP. We're doing really good. And he runs away. He's kiting me, which is good for him. And then he gets me down. And I run away, and then... Oh, another thing I forgot is at this point, he's shooting me, and I think, or maybe he was shooting her, and I think, I can just stun him for a little bit. And so I use my charge as a stun. It's just so dumb. It was so dumb. Same mistake, using my skills too early. And so I didn't actually need to look at the footage for that one. I knew as soon as I did it that it was a mistake. So just like that, I'm down, and my wife, obviously, her Bola cooldown's down. Even if she was gifted at PvP, she's so new to this game. She doesn't know how to heal during a fight or any of those things. You probably know she doesn't use skills. But she is good at just attacking, which is still a useful thing for someone to do. And so she's there shooting at the air. yeah, so basically I screwed it up. The main thing I screwed up is I used my skills beforehand. Going into my inventory was stupid and just makes me cringe every time I watch it. But in reality, that's probably growing pains, because going into the idea of getting into my inventory. In fact, I think that because of that experience, I was like, oh, I don't want to go into my inventory. It made me lose that battle. It's actually made me worse at PvP in other situations, because I stopped going into my inventory when I needed to. So it's actually one of those things where I'm like, no, that actually may have been a good mistake. I need to just make those type of mistakes to get better at this game. Okay, so this last clip is from my free-to-play solo account. And I don't do a lot of PvP on my free-to-play solo account, at least not yet, because I don't have my PvP class yet. But I do some, and this is the most recent fight. And this is before I was getting good at PvP. Like, literally, I just kind of did what felt good, and that wasn't really that gifted. I've learned a lot since then. I use my defense potion. Here, this is pretty smart of him. He gets out, he puts my skill on cooldown. He avoids me using that, so that avoids the damage, avoids getting stuck. And that was just a good play on his part. And then I go ahead and kill off that little guy, which I don't know if that's that big of a deal. And I'm not doing bad on using bandages quickly. I'm supposed to be a tanky character as the bandit. And then I bola him, which allows me to do more damage. So that kind of pull, he had gotten me down lower than I had gotten him, but being able to lock him down and do that extra 30% damage by using the bola, or basically immobilizing him so the bandit does more damage, definitely turned the tide on that. But I just realized what I should have done is I should have saved my my big stun skill for when he was running away. Like if he was ever running away, like later on right here when he starts running away, that's the time to put my big long range stun. Like right here when he starts running away, that's the time to put my big long range stun up and then throw my bola to lock him in there. Or actually, probably what's better now that I think about it is throw my bola and then put my stun up. That way I guarantee to hit that stun. So that would have been a lot smarter for me. I need to get better at that. I know a lot of people don't play the bandit. I'm playing bandit on this account mainly just for the novelty of it, but also, it's hard to grind for, level 2 classes, much less level 3 classes on 5 different accounts. And so, getting there, and obviously I won this one, so it's not that big of a deal. But he's using a green weapon and I'm using a blue weapon, so I really should have been able to perform even better than I did. And I think the biggest thing that I could have done different is bullet him first, and then once I landed a bola, throw up the stun, because that would have made sure a guaranteed stun. Now, right now the devs they don't have the bandit very well balanced, because if he did any type of stun on me like that, like a stun hammer, while I'm in the middle of casting this, it disables it, and so I get nothing. Honestly, I think they need to make the cast time on this instant, or reduce how long it takes before it stuns someone, because it's just kind of it used to be an OP skill. The bandit was totally broken, like you could stun everyone just instantly, and then they nerfed it, but they nerfed it too hard. And then here I still go back and forth. I probably should have just clicked, or maybe I was actually, I don't remember very well. I have to go back and watch the episode, but I might have been trying to click on him, but I was struggling to, so I just killed him instead. So again, not that bad. I don't have a ton of PvP examples on this account. I'm about to get Assassin level 2, and then I'll be able to have a lot more PvP experience on that account, and you guys will get to see it. Well, that's it, guys. I am doing a lot of PvP on all 5 of my accounts right now. I want to get better at PvP, and so I'm just going to teach you guys everything that I learn as I progress in getting better. Getting better at PvP is a slow process. I'm not going to get better overnight. It's going to take me a long time. Everyone I've talked to that's good at PvP in this game have failed and failed and failed to get where they're at. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to fail and fail and fail to get there. And one of the things that I've learned recently is watching the footage of my failures or my successes is giving me a lot of information. It's giving me a lot of help on seeing what I'm actually doing versus what I think that I'm doing. And it's making a big difference as I get better and better at PvP. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.